on other occasions.
Question 4, Professor Priscilla LEUNG. President, it has been reported that the number of full-time job vacancies for university graduates in Hong Kong fell from approximately 15,000 in the fourth quarter of 2021 to around 7,500 in the same period last year, a sharp decline of nearly 50%, indicating a more challenging employment environment for university graduates than before. In this connection, will the government inform this council? 1. As it is learned that basic tasks previously performed by junior staff are gradually being replaced by artificial intelligence or AI tools, whether the authorities have analyzed the impacts of AI tools on the number of jobs. If so, of the details. If not, whether they will carry out an analysis. 2. How the authorities will guide university students to enter sectors with ample job vacancies, but that are non-traditional and less popular. And 3. Whether the authorities will encourage enterprises to assume their corporate training responsibilities and increase the recruitment of local university graduates, so as to improve the employment environment for university graduates as soon as possible. Secretary for Labour and Welfare. President, in consultation with the Education Bureau and the Census and Statistics Department, the reply to the member's question is provided as follows. 1. Based on the results of the General Household Survey conducted by the CNSD, the number of employed persons aged between 15 and 29 with degree or above educational attainment, excluding foreign domestic helpers, in 2025 was about 268,000, comparable to about 270,000 in 2024. The development of AI is advancing rapidly in recent years. Various studies have indicated that while automation technologies like AI could replace some existing jobs, they would also create new employment opportunities. Their impact on the labor market is far-reaching, spanning across all trades and industries, as well as jobs at different levels. Regarding the local employment market for higher education graduates, the widespread application of AI has begun to have an impact on the demand for entry-level positions. According to statistics from the Joint Institution Job Information System, the number of full-time job vacancies suitable for university graduates dropped from around 80,000 in 2022 to around 31,000 in 2025. Among them, roles more affected by automation technology, such as administration and information technology, programming, recorded more pronounced drops of nearly 90% and 80%, respectively. In fact, all major economies are facing similar structural challenge amid the popularization of AI. A survey by the International Data Corporation suggests that over 60% of the surveyed enterprises around the globe have indicated that they would reduce the hiring for entry-level positions within the next 3 years due to the introduction of AI automation technologies. The government places high importance on the situation and has been closely monitoring the changes in the local labor market. To keep abreast of the latest trends, the Labour and Welfare Bureau is currently conducting an analysis on the impacts of AI on Hong Kong's overall labour market, as well as various industries and occupations. The findings of this analysis will be incorporated into the midterm updates of the manpower projections, which is expected for release in the fourth quarter of 2026 to provide a more comprehensive basis for future policies. On Part 2 and 3 of the question, through the triennial planning exercise, the 8 University Grants Committee-funded universities will review and launch new programs. In the 2025-8 triennium, in response to the government's policy steer, as well as market demand and industry trends, universities will introduce 30 new programs to meet Hong Kong's development needs. These programs cover emerging sectors which have developed rapidly in recent years and are widely popular among young people, such as AI, cybersecurity, creative industries, sustainable development, and data science. This can bolster Hong Kong's development in innovation and technology, as well as the 8 centers, while creating opportunities for young people to develop their strengths. On employment, respective faculties and student affairs offices of the universities in Hong Kong provide relevant information and support services for graduates in planning their career development, which include recruitment seminars, job-seeking training workshops, career counseling and consultation services, and mentorship programs. They will also contact alumni associations and employers of different industries to provide employment and internship opportunities for students. Besides, the Labor Department provides diversified employment services and implements various employment programs to assist job seekers of different backgrounds, including university graduates, to secure employment. Its interactive employment service website features the dedicated webpage on higher education employment to facilitate university graduates and job seekers with higher education to search and apply for suitable job vacancies. Apart from employment services, the Labor Department operates 2 youth employment resource centers named Youth Employment Start, or YES, in Mong Kok and Kwai Fong to provide one-stop integrated support services on employment and self-employment for young people aged between 15 and 29, including university graduates. In 2023, the Labor Department also regularized the Greater Bay Area Youth Employment Scheme, or GBA-YES, encouraging enterprises to employ Hong Kong young people to work in the mainland cities of GBA. Starting from last year, the eligibility requirements for joining GBA-YES have been relaxed to include young people aged 29 or below with sub-degree or higher qualifications, and the allowance limit for employers has been increased to $12,000 per month, further promoting the career development of Hong Kong young people. The government will continue to closely monitor changes in the economy and employment markets and review and adjust measures in a timely manner to assist university graduates in securing employment. Professor Leung. Thank you, President. In paragraphs 3 and 4 in the main reply, the government has stated clearly that there is a structural change in employment structure, especially for entry-level jobs. The drops were nearly 90% and 80% respectively. In the last paragraph, it mentioned the Labor Department's GBA Youth Employment Scheme. Now, I would like to further my questions based on these replies. It's not about matching the graduates with a job to utilize their time. Now, for quality graduates, employers are willing to pay a handsome sum for them. However, according to figure, in 2023, there will be a reduction of 9,000 openings. However, globally speaking, there will be 170 million more jobs around the globe. Of course, that requires new skills. So besides the existing schemes, will the government help employers reach directly into the universities and offer training to undergraduates? Many employers are reluctant to hire new graduates. So will the government provide subsidies for employers to provide training courses in universities and tell the undergraduates what skills they need, including AI and personalities? Secretary. President, I thank Professor Leung for the questions. This is a very large topic. We may need a systematic approach for employers to communicate to undergraduates directly, but that relates to the design of university curriculum, and that's not for the LWB to interfere. I'm aware that different universities have different mechanisms to enhance the employability for the graduates. Now, the wave of AI affects the entire world. Every government is thinking about how to help young people survive in this revolution. That's the same for the Hong Kong SAR government. The LWB and the Labor Department are working hard on that, but we need more data to formulate solutions for young people. But undoubtedly, there is a structural change. Now, with the changes in the world, we need young people to adapt, but we will help them. Mr. Kingsley Wong. Thank you, President. Now, I'm very concerned about the difficulty in job finding by graduates. Now, over the past 3 years, the unemployment rate for graduates has increased from 2.7 to 3.7%. At the same time, we lack talents. Over the past 3 years, we've imported 410,000 talents. That brings the question. It seems that there is a great gap between our talent nurturing system and the industry's needs. Now, in 2024, the country has deleted 1,428 obsolete courses, including languages and so on, and there are some 1,300 new disciplines in schools. So in terms of integrating talents, industry, and education, how can the government make our talents more closely aligned with the industry's development so that our graduates can find appropriate jobs? Secretary. President, I thank Mr. Kingsley Wong for his questions. On the integrated development of industry, education, and talent, the Chief Secretary for Administration is leading such a committee. That's the CETI or CETT. It will make preparation for the change. However, Hong Kong is a market-led, market-driven society. The market is ever-changing. I think the member's question is, given the sea change in the market, the government, as the leader, can we do more to help young people to get employed as soon as possible? Now, we have top-tier management to achieve that. The UGC as well. Now, very soon, the Employee Retraining Board will be upgraded to the Upskill Hong Kong. Its positioning will be changed to transforming the skill sets of employees. We will also focus on people with high educational attainment, including young people. The target is to help young people to adapt to the change in the job market and find a suitable job. Mr. Stanley Ng. Thank you, President. Now, the government and society as a whole have invested much in our university graduates. We really want to utilize these talents to the full. Now, the National 15th Five-Year Plan mentions the development model, which is employment-friendly. One major point is that our industries must be aligned with the education system. That's a very good idea. So will the government make reference to the National 15th Five-Year Plan to promote an employment-friendly development approach? In other words, talents nurtured by our education system should align with industries to meet their needs. On the other hand, it is the industry's obligation to provide sufficient vacancies for graduates. Secretary. President, I thank Mr. Ng for his reminder about the National 15th Five-Year Plan and also the goal to create an employment-friendly society. Now, Hong Kong is market-driven. At the same time, universities are also changing according to the changing needs in the markets and industries. The curriculums have been adjusted constantly. The system is organic. But I believe the member is really asking, with the emergence of AI and the significant changes it brings, can we prepare ourselves better? Now, I have faith in our ecosystem. We are adaptable. And on a macro scale, the government is developing the Northern Metropolis. That's exactly for developing a robust ecosystem for the industries. In the future, it will provide a lot of job openings for local graduates. So we already have short, medium, and long-term plans for that. Now, despite the market-driven society, the government will be proactive in delivering. Mr. Zhao Xiuchong, President, many university graduates have complained to me about the difficulties in finding a job, and also the initial pay is rather low. Now, there are some 21,000 graduates from the 8 universities annually. At the same time, we have introduced some 70,000 talents every year over the past few years. Starting from 2022, some 200,000 talents have already come to Hong Kong. So the government should really conduct a study on the reduction of job vacancies at the entry level. Is that related to the importation of talents on a massive scale? And considering the reduction in job vacancies suitable for graduates, should we adjust the eligibility threshold for talent importation schemes? For example, should the quota be focused on industries or professions with larger manpower demand so as to avoid causing direct competition with local graduates? Secretary, President, I thank Mr. Chow for his questions. Now let me analyze the picture from a more macro perspective. Now the view is that there are more challenges in finding a job by university graduates compared with a few years ago. That's the fact. At the same time, the government has been trawling for talents. However, we have already passed the peak of our labor workforce. The peak was in year 2018. And after that, it has been on the decrease. We are an aging society. Now, from the upcoming manpower projection, you can see that in the span of 3 years' time, some 200,000 people have left the job market because of retirements and other factors. Even with importation of talents, we cannot plug the gap. And also, we are importing talents mostly for mid-tier or even top-tier positions. And many of the talents are not job seekers. They are entrepreneurs, especially for Category A. These are entrepreneurs creating job opportunities for local employees. So we need to analyze the situation from a more macro perspective. Now the issue, the difficulties in finding a job exist for all economies. That's because of AI and the changes in the job market. Now our solution should be helping graduates to adapt to this change. At the same time, we have a dwindling workforce. So we need to have a mechanism to import talents on the premise that local employees' jobs are protected. We can grow the cake larger. There is no conflict. So the key is to grow our economy to provide more job openings for local employees. Mr. Lam Shen-Sing. Thank you, President. In the reply, the government mentioned that according to the Joint Institute Job Information System, the number of full-time job vacancies suitable for graduates dropped from 80,000 to 31,000. Now, it is true that top talents may not go after these jobs, but we have another scheme, that is the IANG. Now, over the past few years, there were only 8,000 or 9,000 applicants, but in the past year, the number has surged to 25,000. The number even exceeds the aggregate turnout of graduates from the 8 universities each year. Now, if there are more and more applicants under the IANG to 3 or even 40,000, when local job seekers or local graduates become a minority in the job market, will the government review the impact of ing to the employability of local graduates? Secretary. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Lam for his question. Now, ing is a very popular scheme. Under the existing framework, the applicants can stay in Hong Kong for a period of time after graduation to find a job. If they can secure a job, they can stay, and if not, they have to leave Hong Kong. But bear in mind that the number of local youth has been decreasing. It is not enough to meet the manpower gap. So for ing applicants, if they can find a job in the local economy and meet the manpower gap, it would be good for our economy. But we must understand that local graduates have a lot of advantages in finding a job. That includes cultural advantages, languages, and network. So as long as they can adapt to the changes in the job markets brought about by AI, localists do have an edge in the job market. The important thing is we have to grow the economy and at the same time equip our graduates to adapt to changes. Thank you. Mr. Ken Wong. The follow-up time for question 4 has ended.
Question 5. Mr. Jimmy Ng.